What's up, everybody? How you doing? Welcome back to Horror Hangout. Thank you for hanging out with me today. Got wife with me today. Pardon the lack of energy, man. I'm really tired. This is the third time we've made this video because the first time I don't remember what the deal was, but the second time when we did it, we had a freeze on the software, and then there was a 15-minute gap out of only a 20-minute video that had it was pixelated. It you guys have seen this stuff before, so I'm just putting money away for this computer. I need to get it. I got about half the money saved right now, so we'll get there, man. But anyways, thanks for hanging out with us for a little bit. In celebration of Terrifier 2 coming out in just about a month from now, Carissa finally decided she was ready to watch Terrifier with me, and we actually watched it 2 times, and we'll explain why in just a minute. But we were just going to get on here for a minute and give you guys her feedback and her reaction to the movie. So, yeah.
So, after watching it twice, I can say without a doubt that it is not my favorite movie.
It is not. It's mine.
Yeah, I didn't necessarily enjoy it. There was a whole lot of good about it. It was a fantastic movie. It was very well made. David Howard Thornton is incredible in it. The music is good. The pictures good. The effects were really cool. A lot of the practical
the quality
effects.
of what they did for 35 grand is outrageous.
Yes. It was really awesome. And apparently the location scout was also really good.
Yeah, that warehouse was great. That was a good place to film.
Right.
Well,
so there's a lot of really good stuff about it. It just wasn't my cup of tea.
Well, the issue, after talking about it a couple of times and actually doing this video a couple of times, we kind of figured out that the issue isn't even the movie being good or bad. It's just it was too scary for her. She didn't like it. It was too grimy and realistic. Whereas I genuinely thought at this point in time, by now, with all the things that we've watched together, I wouldn't have asked her to watch it if I had thought she was going to react this way. She can tell you that. I have no reason to do that to her. So I was pretty shocked when she said this. The first time we watched it, I was like, so what'd you think? And she was just like, no. And I literally was like, what? For one thing, she had no complaints during the movie, so I was just a little caught off guard. Mm-hmm. A lot of times when somebody's watching a movie with you and they're not enjoying it, you can tell. And I was watching her watch the movie more than I was watching the movie itself, so I was caught off guard quite a bit when she said she didn't like it. But she immediately said, and this was without any prompting from me, she said, I'd like to watch it again. And I was like, oh, well, that's a good thing, because, sometimes you watch a movie, don't really like it much, watch it again, you go, oh, never mind, I get it, I like it a lot. Mm-hmm. And so we had an opportunity to watch it within quick succession. So 2 days later, I was like, hey, you want to watch it again? She's like, yeah, let's go ahead and do it. Mm-hmm. And she was pretty positive about wanting to watch it, so we threw it on, we watched it, and hell, Parker watched half of it with us. And he was a champ.
Yes.
And he was a good kid. He sat there 2 years old, was like, I love Terrifier. So after the movie, I was like, so, any better? And she just goes, nope. And I was like, okay.
Well, and it was also funny that, as soon as we were starting the second movie, or the second watching, you're like, okay, so now that you have an idea of it being silly and campy, and you think you're going to enjoy it more. And I was like, I didn't think it was silly or campy at all.
I just couldn't imagine if she didn't laugh through this whole movie. Like, the thing is that I've been watching horror movies for almost 30 years. Not quite 30, but a long time. Most of my life. And I started watching not Texas Chainsaw. I started watching with Nightmare on Elm Street as a very young kid. I got in trouble for it. I wasn't supposed to watch it, but I was watching it and enjoying it, and then having horrendous nightmares throughout the night. So I've got 2 decades plus experience on her. But
because I've only been watching horror movies for 2 years.
So I've literally got you 10x'd. So
yes.
Actually 3x or excuse me.
DX.
Wham! Got you. Anyways, my math is off right now. So the situation is this: is I watched this movie, and while it's in a realistic setting, everything else about it is ridiculous. It's ultra gory, which we've seen so many movies that are over the top. But I will say this: after watching it the second time and then thinking about it, putting this against something like ETCYOU, which is
Yes.
way gorier than this,
Yes.
they're different because this one is
Very.
much more mean spirited. This is much
Yes.
more in the vein of like the original Maniac and Last House on the Left, where it's
Yeah.
unbelievable, but it's so grimy that I guess in hindsight, I kind of feel a little bad for making you watch it.
See, I'm not even sure it's unbelievable.
Oh, it's very
Like,
unbelievable.
I just feel like people might actually be that mean.
No, they won't dress up like a fucking clown and do it though. That's my whole point. Is that it's unbelievable. Like it's with the exception of John Wayne Gacy, which is an anomaly. It's the one dude in the history of people that did that. My point is that I don't take it seriously. There's nothing about it that feels serious to me. Like the whole movie feels silly in a good way. Like in a way, and that's not a diss. Like I love this movie. Like I love it. It's not even a question of whether or not I just enjoy it or whatever. No, dude. Look over my shoulder. I've got Art the Clown. Oops, sorry, this way. Masks over my shoulder. I've got a Blu-ray set that I bought here that is number 36 of only 200 made. Like, you don't go and buy stuff like this if you don't really truly have a love for something. Which just to show this off, this thing is awesome, man. I'll do it. I already did an unboxing, but I don't know if it's on this channel or not. It might be on my other channel. If I figure it out, I'll do a I don't know, review of that if you guys want. It's pretty cool, and I've got Terrifier VHS, whatever. It is what it is. I've got a lot of the merch. I've got autographs. I've talked to David a couple of times on the channel. You know what? Again, I think part of it is that I've talked to David enough to where he's pulled me from the reality of this movie.
Mm-hmm.
I look at Art the Clown and I don't see David Howard Thornton. I mean, I don't see Art the Clown. I see David Howard Thornton, which is weird because he's such the opposite of this character, like to kind of an absurd degree. Like he's so nice. Like he's the opposite of this character. But that'll make it hard for somebody like me to take this very seriously. I was just really shocked. I was really surprised. Yeah, I mean, I'm still surprised. It blows my mind. But here's the thing: we watched the trailer for the second movie, and she's interested in at least watching it once.
Yes.
And we've come to the conclusion that we think she might enjoy it better because it's going to be a little bit sleeker. It's going to have a better production value. It's going to look more like a movie because there was points in this one where it looked like you were just watching through a window.
Yes.
Because the quality of the cameras used nowadays for a low budget film is so much higher than it was even 15 years ago.
Oh my goodness.
That they had excellent cameras. So at that point they're worried about, excuse me, can we get the practical effects to look right? Can the actors do what they're supposed to do? And all that fell in the line. It fell into place. So you had points in this movie where it was so realistic from the perspective of we're just watching a guy at a pizza place.
Right. Because it looked
like we were there kind of versus like a Marvel movie where you're like, oh, I'm clearly not there. That's a
clearly
set.
Not there.
It's lots of CG. No, this was just like a
a
window into a situation.
The pizza place looks like a place we've been a million times.
It really does feel like Brothers Pizza in Houston. Shout out to Brothers Pizza in Houston. Let's go.
And so
excuse me.
That kind of made it feel more familiar and realistic to me. But another thing that I really wanted to say was that even though I didn't enjoy the movie, it was still so well done that I'm interested in the character. I am curious to know more about Art the Clown, and
that's very important.
Yes, I want to know about his backstory and why he doesn't talk, because I know you get to like, okay, he's just not talking, but then there's at least 5 times where he gets stabbed or beaten or something.
Hit with something.
Yeah,
it makes no noise.
Opportunities to just yelp in surprise.
This is one of those instances where we are very different because I couldn't care less as to why he doesn't talk. But it doesn't. I mean, I'm not saying that you shouldn't want to know. If you want to know, it's what you want to know. It doesn't affect me one way or the other than I want to find out so that I can tell you, or I want to find out so I can have you watch it with me. You know what I'm saying? Like something like that. But like it shows you there's a lot to be said for a movie that you can sit up here and be like, yeah, I didn't like it at all, but it was really well made. Like that's, there's got to be tons of people that are into either horror or horror adjacent things that this one might not be their cup of tea. And they won't even be able to tell you, yeah, but the effects were really good and the film, the cinematography was pretty good and the cameras were really nice. They had good equipment and they had good music. They won't be able to tell you those things because they were watching it strictly from an entertainment perspective, where you were too, except that you also know that we do this.
Yes.
I do videos about it. So she was watching it kind of thinking we were going to talk about it.
Yeah.
So
and I've gotten to the point you always talk about those things so much that I just
like the music and
have to notice them,
effects and the acting, and I didn't used to talk about that as much, but I think it's pretty cool that you watched it with me. Well, I think it's amazing that you watched it with me. I think it's amazing that you watched it twice, but I think it's pretty cool that you're able to at least say some positive things about it, because I would have been pretty disappointed if you weren't able to acknowledge the good in the movie, because whether you like it or not is irrelevant when you're talking about, was it made well? Did the acting, was it convincing?
Right.
Were the effects cool? Was the kill cool like that? I mean, come on.
Right.
Is that not the best kill you've ever seen in a movie?
That was really crazy. Okay.
Like the best kill though. Like you talk about just outrageous kills. Like what beats that?
It hurt.
I mean,
it hurt.
There's been very few instances where somebody was killed on screen and it was more effective than that. Is my point.
Yes.
Like the one thing that I saw that once that really kind of affected me, which was a strange one because it wasn't gory at all, was when Jason Voorhees picks up a girl in a sleeping bag and slams her against a tree. The noise that it made, I was like, oh. Yeah. But it's like stuff like that where this one was just like, he doesn't hesitate. She's like hanging there and he just goes, huh? Ready? Let's go. And just starts going at it. Yeah. And you're like, oh my goodness. And when the first time I saw it, it blew my mind. So like there's things like that you have to acknowledge as a fan of movies. Was this insane? Yeah, it was absolutely freaking nuts. Doesn't mean you liked it necessarily, but I think it's cool that you would probably still, I don't know, maybe you wouldn't, but would you go with me and meet David and them in person and take photos and stuff? Yeah, because you appreciate the movie more than you liked it, obviously, correct? Yes. Is that a good assumption?
Yes. Yeah. And like you said, with that kill, and in many other ways, they did push boundaries, and
that's
really
something we need to talk about for just a minute. I was like, why did the video take us 20 minutes to make it? It's because we brought up stuff. Well, no, because I was like, why do we talk about it for 20? Because we brought up things like this. Okay, so in the movie, there's two things that I thought were going to really upset some people, and I think they're very divisive scenes. One is he kills the final girl, the main girl. She's dead halfway through the movie, right? I love it. I love it so much. And she's the eye candy. She's the hot girl, man. Like, or I believe, I apologize if Jenna Canal sees this. I believe Jenna Canal goes by a different pronoun. I don't remember what it is. I'm not trying to be disrespectful. I am aware of that, so my apologies. Whatever Jenna wants to go by is what I will call Jenna. Okay? But that character is Gonzo. And then also, Art pulls out a gun. Boom. Gotcha. That is a no-no in slasher movies. And I was like, yes, please give me more of it. I am a rule breaker, man. So how did you feel about that? Because you're not as deep into horror as me.
How much does that come up in horror movies in general?
Guns?
Yes.
Not very often. Unless you're talking zombie movies, maybe.
Yeah.
But on slashers, almost never.
Yeah, no. No, yeah. I mean, it did surprise me. And I can absolutely see why people would be upset about it.
That's why I'm like, you're mad? Come on, it's awesome.
But I think they did it well. And I think, the overkill with it was very much in character and in keeping with the horror. And the running out of bullets just... And
he's like super irritated. That's one thing I like about the movie is that they write stuff like that into they wrote things like that into it where he runs out of ammunition and he's like, are you kidding me? And he looks visibly irritated and he has to go find more and then come back and then he does come back and he's like bam 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 bam. I liked the side chick. That was the wrong way to say that. Anyways, the blonde. The more I watch this movie, the more I think her character might be my favorite character aside from Art because she's funny.
She is funny.
She's like, come on, let her go inside. She'll make it worth your while. Like, she's just like your very typical hot blonde chick. And I'm not even like a blonde chick guy, but she's like a hot chick, man. And you're like, oh, she's cool, she's funny, and she's like clearly out to party. And you're like, oh no, she's really likable. She's dead. She is going to DIE because she is fun and clearly fun to be around. The other girl is all paranoid and being like annoying. She's like, dude, you're freaking me the fuck out now. Remember, she tells her in the car, she's like, would you shut up? You're making me have a bad time. And then I was like, oh, she's gonzo. I love the introduction of Art and her and as like a pair when she's like, oh my god, you're not gonna believe this. And then you look over and that smile he's got, you're like, yo, what? Yeah, Terrifier. We watched the first one. We're waiting. Well, I've seen it probably about I'd say at least 10 times now. Probably 10 times. But we're waiting on the sequel in a few weeks. What's up?
I just remembered the first time you watched Terrifier, you didn't like it. You turned it off halfway through.
Correct. That's something I talk about quite often, actually, because it shocks me that I like it this much when I didn't like it at all the first time I watched it. I watched it and I got about 30 minutes in and I said, nope, turned it off. I got about to the point to where, let's see, is it even 30 minutes? I don't know. Yeah, because I still to this day don't understand, the beginning of this movie. I don't understand it. I'm not gonna go into it. I don't understand why that's in there, but I haven't talked to Damien yet, so if I ever get to talk to him, I will ask him. But I mean, that doesn't take away from the movie. But when I first saw it, it's like a 10-minute segment, and like another 10 minutes after that, they're still at the pizza place.
Yeah.
While in hindsight now, I get it, I like it, and I understand the pacing of it. When I first watched it, I didn't, and I was like, because somebody told me like, this is the scariest movie I've ever seen, bro. You're gonna love this, and they're like, it's gory and gnarly, and there was this kill in there, and I was like, I was all excited. So I started watching it, and the news anchor lady, she's so unlikable that I was like, just like, yo, she's awful. And then I was already in a funk, but in all fairness, I watched it on a screen about this big, so it was probably like a 20-inch, 25-inch screen on a computer in a dark little office. It was my little office, and the lights were out, but like the next time I watched it on a big TV and the lights out in a room by myself, and it was way more effective that way. So, look, all I want is for everybody that's on my team over here, not my team as in like it or dislike it, but like as in horror hangout homies, like, please go support this movie. Please go watch it. It's on Tubi right now for free. All Hallows Eve is the prequel, and it's like an anthology movie featuring Art the Clown. That's on Tubi, I believe. But go support this stuff. And when Terrifier 2 comes out, I genuinely hope you all go see it. Whether you like it or not, that's up to you guys. But I hope you go support it. And Damien Leone did a lot of work to get this movie to stay in his possession, to keep the property. And this is a true independent horror movie. It was funded by the fans of the franchise. It was produced otherwise by Damien and people he knew. So this isn't something that's owned by Sony or Fox or Disney or anything like that, or Universal. This is a independent horror movie to its core. So please go support it. And let us know what you think. Let me know what you think about the first movie in the comments. If you have a movie that you want us to check out, let us know in the comments. If you want her to watch something with me, specify, hey, I'd like Krista to see this. Whether or not I've seen it is irrelevant. We'll watch it together and we'll talk about it. Yeah, she's probably going to be doing more videos with me at least for the near future while she's not doing so much full-time work. May as well hang out and do some more stuff together because I enjoy it. So
I enjoy it too.
I love you.
I love you.
We're so bad about this. Sorry.
I know.
But anyways,
we're so corny.
Hey man, I got a good looking wife. Like, what? If you're mad about that, you're just mad about that. Oh well. It is what it is. But yeah, Terrifier, man. Go watch it. Go enjoy it. Love it. Go dress up like a clown for Halloween and scare the crap out of some kids. Send me photos. I want to see this stuff. All right, guys. Thanks for hanging out. We'll get out of here. Stop rambling. Have a good day. Enjoy yourself. Yeah. Like, subscribe, notification bell, all that jazz. Peace.